Hold still. This is my last roll of film.
How's this?
Smile, Grandma. I guess I'm wearing out my present the first week, huh? I love this camera. Thanks again, Grandma.
Well, you're welcome again, honey. Only you don't have to thank me every time you take a picture.
Can you turn me around over that way? I want to grab a picture of those rocks from here.
How's that?
Good. Hey, there's Dr. Sills with the picnic stuff.
Oh, I better go down and give her a hand. I'll be right back. Here, let me help you with that.
How is Mark doing?
Oh, much better. You were right about a day outdoors. He just loves it here.
Nature is very therapeutic, Mrs. Douglas, especially here in the desert.
Did you show Dr. Sills your pictures, Mark?
Oh, no. Well, what do you think?
They're wonderful pictures, Mark.
I think so, too. Mark's a wonderful little photographer.
You know, I came across this fascinating book. I brought it along. I thought you might enjoy hearing a little about the prehistory of this region. I think knowing something about the history of the area you're visiting adds a lot to any trip there. Don't you, Alice?
Oh, yes. That's why Harold and I always visit the museums and any historical sites whenever we travel. It's very educational.
Mark, why don't you read this part for us?
Oh, I don't read very well.
Why, now, that's not what Mrs. Simmons says.
Go ahead, Mark. Just read a few paragraphs for us.
Starting around 1400 A.D., the Hohokam Indians, is that how you say it?
I believe that tribe's name is pronounced Hohokam. It doesn't matter, Mark. Go ahead.
The Hohokam Indians migrated southward into a beautiful land of huge granite boulders and eroded rock formations. Unlike their ancestors, the basket makers, not much is known today about these ancient people due to the scarcity of burial sites uncovered so far by archaeologists. It appears that the Hohokam Indians, unlike the basket makers, did not often bury their dead in the ground or in sheltered caves. Instead, they practiced cremation, presumably because of tribal beliefs that a body must be burned to enable the spirit of the deceased to ascend into heaven.
What's wrong, Mark?
I don't want to read anymore.
Oh, well, that's all right. Here, I'll read a paragraph or two.
No.
What's the matter, honey? Are you feeling sick?
No. Just a little tired.
Well, I'll just finish the page here. Where did you leave? Oh, here. Only a few burial sites have been located, usually in caves or openings underneath huge rocks. Some archaeologists have theorized that these unusual cave burials were a form of punishment, a sort of purgatory, for those unfortunate individuals who had violated some sacred law of the tribe. The late Dr. Roland Williamson, who served 30 years as curator of the Southwestern Museum in Phoenix, once described how he believed one of these ancient burials may have appeared 500 years ago. All of the tribal members and loved ones would gather at dusk near the burial site. If the burial was to be a normal one, logs were carried to the top of a nearby rock outcropping. The body of the deceased was then placed on top of this funeral pyre, unclothed and unadorned, facing skyward, precisely at sunset. The pyre was set ablaze. The medicine man chanted his ancient prayers to the gods of the hereafter. The tribal members silently watched as the smoke and ashes rose up, carrying the spirit of the departed into the heavens.
Kala. coma.
What did you say, Mark?
Why, Doctor, he's soaking wet. Do you have a fever, honey?
No! I just want to go home. Now!
All right, honey.
Let's go. I think it's too hot for him out here.
I'll start packing.
Doctor, I'm certain we left the Scout over there. You see the tracks?
Yes, that's correct. But there's one more thing I'd like Mark to see.
But Mark's sick. He needs to go home. Why, you saw how feverish he was.
Excuse me, Mrs. Douglas. What Mark needs is to be cured of his illness once and for all.
And you expect to cure him out here?
I hope to, yes.
How? Doctor, I insist you tell me how you intend to cure my grandson.
Mrs. Douglas, while Mark was under hypnosis, he described to me in detail an experience he'd had prior to his mother's breakdown.
What kind of experience?
Because of your religious upbringing, one you won't understand
How
or
do you
accept.
know I won't understand?
All right. Mark had what parapsychologists call an out-of-the-body experience. Of course, he didn't know what it was at the time.
You mean like St. Paul?
What?
St. Paul. In 1 Corinthians, Paul described in a letter to the church how his spirit would leave his physical body for short periods of time.
You mean you believe in astral travel?
Oh, I don't know what you doctors call it, but there are many examples of spiritual travels in the Bible. Why, Paul spoke of it again in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 35. How are the dead raised up, and with what body do they come? There is a psychical and spiritual as well as a physical body.
Yes, and I believe now that Mark's spiritual or astral body left him and was replaced by that of another person.
Another person? Who?
That's what we're going to find out.